Heather, can you see the slides okay? Well, this is the November 2nd edition of our CTAT statewide professional roundtable. Again, we appreciate all you guys being here. I'm never cease to be amazed with the quality of input and the amount of people that join on to help each other. And it's just amazing. We had over 225 people register for today's roundtable. So they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Remember, we are recording these sessions and we do post them on YouTube. So if you do not wish to have your picture displayed to public view, you may want to participate with your video turned off. Otherwise, your participation serves as consent to your picture being posted. These roundtables are all about folks working together, and I say it every month, but the stuff that you can pick up on here is just amazing. It is kind of an extension of the forum that's on the CTAT website, and it you guys really have the ability to share. I like this a little bit better than the forum because you get some extension in the conversation. So again, thank you a million times over for being here and being willing to share. This is unbelievably the fourth season of the roundtable that we had. Remember, we started with the COVID updates, and then it just kind of morphed into what we have now. So we certainly appreciate it. Don't forget that the Winter Leadership Conference is in San Antonio, February 5th through the 7th at the Grand Hyatt. We have some great sessions that have already been submitted. And also, we will have all of the pre-conferences, the counselor training, admin levels 1, 2, and 3. We have the SPED training that Tally Joe does, and many more. And we appreciate you guys for signing up for that. And don't forget to get on there and register if you haven't, and get your hotel room booked ASAP. We have about 27 presentations that have been submitted already, which is a fantastic start, but we need many, many more. And so help out the other folks that are in the same positions that you're in. Make sure that you get on there and tell us what good things are happening at your district. What IBCs are you having success with? What program of study are you getting the most completers and why? What is a way that you can really go to advance your career tech programs, and don't limit it to just IBCs and programs of study and MOA visits. Tell us something good that you're doing that has that indirectly impacts those things. Get on there and submit ctat.org. We're dying to see your presentations, and I know they're going to be great. And the deadline for presentations is November 17th. So watch for future emails coming out on that. Just do it tomorrow. Get on there tomorrow and submit your presentation, and it'll be done. Lindsay has started our membership campaign, and it went all through October, and it's branded with Be a CTE Rockstar, which is very cool. And I know that they're going to tie some of that branding to the winter conference. We're all looking forward to that. So if you know anyone that's in your area that is a CTE professional and they're not a member of CTAT, reach out to them and say, we'd like to have you be a member, because every person that we add makes the whole organization stronger. November 2nd is quite the exciting day for birthdays in history. Stephanie Wells, many of you remember from the TV show Heart to Heart, but when I think of Stephanie Wells, I always think about the fact that she played John Wayne's daughter in McClintock. I always remember that. And Burt Lancaster, who had he played the Birdman from Alcatraz, Elmer Gantry, a bunch of good roles. But my favorite birthday to talk about is today is the birthday of the real life Daniel Boone. And Daniel Boone was such a hero, he could only be played in TV by Fess Parker. And a little bit of trivia, Daniel Boone did not really wear a coonskin cap. That was Davy Crockett. But Fess Parker played Davy Crockett on the Walt Disney series, and they couldn't get the right to make it into a regular television series, so they just switched to Daniel Boone, but left the coonskin cap on. So you can share that, and you don't even have to tell them where you got it. That is good information. Also, today in 1947, Howard Hughes flew the Spruce Goose. And at the time, that was the biggest uh, largest fixed wing aircraft ever built, and it proved the concept of what we now think of as the huge cargo planes. But they said that it would never fly, and he just wasted the government money. But he came in there and actually flew it, had reporters on the flight, and flew it himself. It's really an incredible story. I even had it as my thumbnail that I was going to use for the YouTube videos. But in case you've been napping, through the past 24 hours, something else kind of happened. And it was the old little Rangers popped up and won the World Series. And of course, Corey Seager was the MVP, but all through there we had a lot. And kudos to the Astros. Being a Ranger fan, where you only get to the World Series about once every 20 years, it really makes you appreciate what the World Series, what the Astros have done over the past 7 or 8 years. So kudos to those Astros, and big time kudos to our World Series champion Texas Rangers. Uh, that guy's name is Spores, the pitcher that finished the game last night. Kind of an odd name. So knowledge is on the way. Our old friend Neil deGrasse Tyson says, and of course that means talk about CTAT programming. We have next gen administrators that's going on right now, monthly roundtables just like this, professional conferences that go through in um, February and again in July. Our regional trainings have really taken off. We'll talk about those in just a second. And if you need a district program evaluation, we're still signing some of those up for the spring. So let us know if you do. The new teacher training, we have one in Houston, and our presenters were Larkin LaFleur, Brooke Martin, um, Angelique Sanchez, and Bonnie Anderson, and they came in and worked with the new teachers and really were just incredible. The curriculum material that the task force put together was amazing, and it was a big team effort from the state. And as we reach out and do more regional trainings, I think we're able to touch more lives, touch more teacher lives, and more student lives. And so, really appreciate you guys and your leadership roles in serving on those task force and presenting. The both groups had about 80 new teachers each, so the attendance was phenomenal. Um, the second new teacher training was in Denton at the Town Center Convention Center. Jason Cooper, Aniska Douglas, Katie Donahue, and Leanne Tamplin were the presenters there. And I'm glad I don't have to pick which group was the best group of presenters, because both sites were just amazing. And so we appreciate both sets of you guys doing the presenting. The first Finance CTE Joint Academy was held this past week in Denton, and we had over 80 people attend that. About half the people were CTE, a fourth of the people were finance, and a fourth of the people were PEMS. Miles Van was just on the area presidents meeting a minute ago, and he said that they were actually catching mistakes in the workshop, and that worked out fantastic because it happened right during the snapshot time, and there was a lot of good focus. But we really appreciate you guys attending that. Suzanne Patterson and her PEMS counterpart at Arlington presented on Wednesday, and then Katie Donahue and her finance uh, chief financial officer presented on Thursday, and they both did an incredible job. And it's so interesting that whenever we have those finance CTE academies, the best part of the presentation is always the districts, because seeing how an actual district comes and attacks some of these issues is always the most informative to me. The next Finance CTE Joint Academy will be held on Monday, March 25th and Tuesday, March 26th in Round Rock at the Austin Marriott North. So we're looking forward to that. And if you haven't registered for that, I think there's already about 50 people registered. We're not even in the spring yet. So that's amazing. So if you want to secure a spot, you might want to get on there and register for that academy. If you didn't be able to make the Denton one. Future trainings we have planned for March of 2024 is we're going to expand the counselor training for a counselor that cannot make it to the training that's at the conference. We're going to hold a training for counselors. And at the same time, we're going to, but two different rooms, two different groups. We're also going to hold a joint training for the CTE personnel and the diagnostician or whoever attends the ARD meetings. So we're going to hold training for the counselors and then training for staff members that have to attend ARDs. And so hopefully, like the finance folks here, the same thing as the CTE folks for the in that area. Well, the special ed folks, the diagnosticians, and the CTE folks will all hear the information at the same time and give that pairing a chance to collaborate. We really look forward to both of those. Don't forget that the CTAT shared resources site is up, and Lindsay has that up and going, and that's uh, on there by career cluster. And you can just go on to the CT curriculum resource library and upload lessons, send this to your teachers. Anybody that you think could upload quality resources, do it. This is a marathon. We're in this for the long haul. And so as the resources get added, the site will grow and continue to improve. As far as some breaking news, this is a document that wasn't updated for probably 5, 6, 7 years, but the FAQ for CTE and special ed has been reposted. And this is incredible content. If you're an administrator in the district, you need to have this in your top right-hand drawer, and you need to share it with your special ed folks because this is all the rules and regulations as CTE and special ed crosses. And all of this information that I'm sharing with you has links available in the CTAT chat. And if you, for some reason, didn't get that, email me at mark@ctat.org and I'll forward you a copy. The CTAT Awards Committee is looking for members to serve and be committee members. Lindsay, if you're in here, would you like to say anything about the awards committee? I'm not sure if Lindsay made it on. She just left the area president's meeting. We'll move on. If Lindsay pops in, then we'll get her to talk about the awards committee. But if you are interested in serving in the awards committee, then go to the CTAT chat and go down there, and there will be a link where you can submit your deal. We have new teacher, administrator of the year, guidance person of the year, all those categories, and the winners, of course, go on to regional and national levels to compete. We want strong people coming from the state, and so we need committee members to select those folks. Innovative course timeline. If you're wanting to submit an innovative course, the deadline for that is November 27th and Tuesday, November 28th. So if you have an idea for an innovative course, you probably need to get to work on that right now. The State Leadership Committee, TEA sent this out in the newsletter and I forwarded it in the CTE chat. PT and Katie and a bunch of folks on here have all served on this committee, and it's a great way to provide input before some big decisions are made. And hopefully that's the case, and that's what ends up happening. But if you're interested at all, go on there and apply to be on the State CTE Leadership Committee, where you can help advise the TEA staff on what rules should be implemented across the state. We're getting close to Thanksgiving. And of course, when you look at things from the turkey's point of view, it's always different. And I saw where one turkey just got unfriended by the farmer on Facebook, so I thought I'd post that. And then, of course, you all know the phase-ins for the IBCs and programs of study. This will probably be the last time we put this chart up during the roundtable. But this year's graduates have to have one course that's level 2 or higher that correlates with the IBC. Next year's graduates have to be concentrators in a program of study, and then the class of 2026 will have to be completers in a program of study in order to get credit on A through F accountability for an IBC. Okay, just some real quick. You can see that TEA posted on their website on the programs of study page right here that the programs of studies have changed. And if you click on that document, an Excel spreadsheet pops up that looks like this, and it has all of the changes. These changes are not on the one pagers yet, or they weren't when I looked. And so you can go and you can click down here, there's this program list with the change, and it'll show you. Sometimes it's just a name change. Sometimes they're adding a course. And so it has the old titles, the new titles, and any change that has been made. For example, applied agricultural engineering is becoming in 24-25 agricultural technology and mechanical systems. It's a name change in the program of study. Architectural design becomes architectural drafting and design in 2024. And automotive, I guess, is adding the title automotive and collision repair, which is a name change to 24-25, and so on and so on and so on. There's pages of changes there, and sometimes it just says no change. Also, something really cool that our staff members for CTE at the Texas Education Agency have put onto the website. If you'll go onto the IBC page and scroll down close to the bottom, you'll see two new links there that say IBC certifications earned by graduates. And I always get questions about which IBCs are the most achievable or what IBCs are suited for high school students. Well, you can click on that Excel sheet and you can look at every industry-based certification and see how many of those were earned. And it goes all the way to 2020, 2021. And this is just one page, but as you can see, if someone says that students don't have the ability to earn the floral certification, it's just too hard, well, you can tell that teacher that, well, 4,764 students earned that last year. And as you can see, if you look at the refrigerant handling for construction, 213 kids earned that. So it's a good place to look on there, and you can see the most frequently obtained industry-based certifications, and it might give you an idea of where to go with your program, because you know that those are very achievable if thousands of kids are earning them. The Texas legislators special session is going on that started on October 9th. So far, it's all vouchers and no CTE impact. Robin just got some interesting news. I hope that she's on here, and when we go to the big gallery, Robin can share what she learned as far as from the speaker's office today, which I thought was kind of interesting. And so again, appreciate you guys being on the roundtable, and I'm going to exit out. Stop sharing, get back in gallery view. And Robin, if you're on here, would you like to share the information that you got from the committee chair? Well, I'll just share because it looks like she's locked up there. Oh, wait, there she is right there. Sorry, Robin.
It's okay. Is the sound okay?
Perfect.
Okay. No, so we heard late yesterday, that the chair of the House Pub Ed Committee told reporters that it's too late this session to pass any bill on vouchers. So, each special session is supposed to be 30 days in length. So we don't see a whole lot happening. There are no hearings scheduled right now. The Senate is way ahead of the game because they've already had SB1, SB2 pass, and the House filed their bill, but they haven't held hearings yet. So we're just kind of in a holding pattern for now.
Awesome. Thanks. Robin, do you want to talk about your trip to the band contest? Well, you got the...
Man, that was so much fun. I got to tell you, it is remarkable to me how much just camaraderie and support these band kids have for each other. I mean, they're cheering on bands from across the state. They don't know each other, but just the sportsmanship alone that is in the band program, I'm just amazed by. But I'm really proud of our kiddos because they made state finals. So go Tiger Band.
Thank you, Robin. And you know, one point that I always make is, yeah, band has that camaraderie, and athletics promotes that too. But also, our current technical student organizations do the exact same thing. And I try to make that point whenever I'm at a meeting or something. You know, these CTSO kids are in there, and a lot of times that's a different student that might not get an opportunity in some other areas. So, in talking about the band and athletics, we know the playoffs is going on. It's also a good time to celebrate our CTSO kids. All right, the floor is kind of open to uh, whatever we have going here. Anybody want to throw out the first pitch?
Hi, Mark. It's Tracy from Pflugerville. I'll start, and this is probably not a conversation that could be finished up here. So I'll post what it is I need to know, and then I'll put my email in the chat. And if this is relevant for you, please email me. Our district is in design phase right now for a CTE center. We're scheduled to open the center in fall of 27, and we are basically done with design and about to start entering construction documents. And as is usually the case in such things, we were dropped with a little bit of a bomb that there's some concern that we won't have enough CTE students to fill the center in the first year. So the district wants to add something else to the center. So I obviously had a little gasping moment about that. And so district leadership asked me to reach out to other districts who have a CTE center that are running CTE plus something else there. And specifically, my boss wanted me to talk to anybody who has a CTE center that's going to be about our same size. I don't know that that exists because we're going to be small. So our total square footage will be about 110,000. And so if you were running a CTE center that is anywhere close to that size, and you run CTE plus something that's not CTE, like an early college or something else, I'm going to drop my email in the chat. And if you could please tell me how that's going and what you like and don't like, I would have greatly appreciate it.
Tracy, when you say that they're talking about adding something else, what do you mean?
Right now the conversation is around probably something like an early college, high school. So for the CTE side of the house, students would basically only be there for the advanced level courses, probably as a junior, senior, mostly, maybe some sophomores. But then for that early college part, there would be students there all day long from all grade levels. And none of our design was set to serve lunch. The students were supposed to be there either morning or afternoon. So now that we have to go back and try to add what they're calling a warming kitchen and a serving line. And I just heard from the architect this morning that they think they found a way to do that, but it adds another 2,000 square feet and $1 million to the cost. And we're already at our budget. So they're talking about ECHS. They're talking about potentially 400 students. We don't currently have an ECHS, so I don't know how many years it would take us to get to that point, but that's what they threw out was something like an ECHS.
Have you guys looked at a child care center being part of the complex? We had a child care center in our old career tech center, Mansfield. At Ben Barber had a child care center at one time. Some of you others may too.
Yeah, we haven't had that conversation, but if I could get that instead of a serving line and lunches, I'd be all for it. But so if that's you, if that's how y'all did it, and I know Georgetown just up the road from me, I'm looking for Breton, but I can only see so many people on the screen. But they're in the middle of building one right now, and I think their 18 plus program and a child care is going there, but they are big. Their center is going to be huge. So and my concern is we knew the footprint was going to be relatively small based on the budget that was allocated for the center. And at this point, it sounds like they're thinking they don't have money to pull from anywhere else to add this ECHS lunch space, whatever. So it sounds like it's going to come out of the CTE space. And so obviously that's my concern, is we were already tight when we designed it. So I was just charged to reach out to others and see what they're doing and what works as far as integrating some other non-CTE program into a CTE center. But thanks for the childcare thing. If y'all are doing that, I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, so if you guys have any comments, I mean, if you have a CTE center that's about 100,000 square foot, what I'm hearing is that Tracy wants to know what programs you have in it, so you can shoot her an email, and also some innovative ways that you use space. I'm just kind of thinking in my head what she was thinking, you know, multi-purpose rooms, everything that you guys have that is really cool. So, yeah, fantastic. So Tracy, hey, thanks for that. And I'm sure you're going to get a jillion replies on that. And you're going to post that in the forum too, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Any other comments?
Okay, I'm back. I don't want to monopolize the time, but I just wanted to see, did anybody notice the course level changes information that was floating around? Because y'all are all probably way ahead of me, but I missed that BIM 1 went from a level 2 to a level 1 course. And that has implications for the CCMR phase in. So I went through the list that they posted, which I didn't even know that they posted a list of what the course levels were, like in a spreadsheet, because at one time we had that and then it went away from the site and I didn't know it came back. So it was in the Peen's calculation website under the tools, but they didn't match. Like BIM 1 showed up in one program of study as a level 2, but it showed up in another program of study as a level 1. And so I reached out to TEA about that, because when that initially came up, I thought TEA said, well, if it's in different levels, we're going to count it as the highest level for whatever program it's, listed as. But now that there's an implication for that around CCMR, I really wanted to get confirmation on it. So I've reached out to TEA and asked that question. Okay, so in this example of BIM 1, it's no longer level 2. So any student who took it and is graduating this year, are you going to count it as a level 2 for all of them, no matter what program? Or are you going to count it as a level 1? Because that determines whether or not we're going to get that point for them earning the IBC. So the answer I got back was that they pushed that question to performance reporting and they're waiting on a response. So as soon as I get a response, I'll post it in the forum. But I didn't know if anybody else had already asked that question and gotten an answer.
That's a better answer than what I got, because the answer I got from Lacey Freeman was, it's a level 1 and it's a level 1. And so therefore it's a level 1 and you're not going to get credit. So if they're now pushing it to performance reporting, maybe there's a chance.
And
Yeah, I got the same response, Rick, from Lacey. I had the same response. Tracy, it's Renee and Kamal. I had the same response.
And Renee and Tracy, I talked to Marcette on the phone, and it's funny that you guys said that, because I got the same response that Tracy got, is that the intent is for that course to count as a level 2 this year.
Wow.
And
Okay.
Yes. This is Region 7. That was the intent that we got as well, that it wouldn't start until the 24, 25.
Okay. That's good to know. I mean, that's helpful. That's good to know, because
but that makes us want to double check again.
well, I specifically asked for graduates of 24 and I was told it was a level 1, because I had a whole school of them at 7 campuses.
Okay.
You know, they came to conference last year and said if it's a level 1 and a level 2, then it's going to count as the highest one. And so I think what happened is and obviously I'm not a computer guru, or I'd have better PowerPoints, but you can't make it, the way it reads those PEMS is everything in a computer is a yes or no. So it says, is this a level 2 course, yes or no? Well, you can't make it say yes if it's this or no if it's that. It's just a yes or no. And so In order for them to get that, they're going to have to change BIM to a level 2 course for everything. And if it were me, I'd just go ahead and change it so they can honor what was told at conference. And in addition to that, after this year, it doesn't matter because they have to be concentrators. So, however, I was also told, like carrying them, is that it's in the hands of performance reporting, and they're going to try to make that happen. But it's kind of out of their ballpark now, is what I was told.
Well, I'm glad others were asking that question too, because to throw a wrench in that, and somebody please double check me while we're talking about this, when they updated the 23-24, so current year course level list, they did change BIM 1 to a level 1 in every program. And so I was like, okay, so is that going to mean that, because my question is, if they're graduating this year and you midway changed it on us, what are we supposed to do? Right. But then, so anyway, so there was that piece of it. And then this is just my own little frustration with the way the levels work, is you have some programs where, and I'm just going to stick with the BIM 1 example. BIM 1 is a level 1, BIM 2 is a level 2. But you flip over to, say, I don't know, construction tech, and construction tech 1 is a level 2, and construction tech 2 is a level 3. And then you flip over to another program of study, and it's the same thing. A level 1 course is listed as a level 2, like the first part of a course is listed as a level 2, and then the second part is level 3. And this one is off. The BIM 1 is a level 1. So anyway, I don't know where that came from. It seems like they should all just be cohesive across, but that's probably not something they're going to.
But
one of the things that I was told was that because it's being taught so much at the middle school level, they looked at it and said it wasn't as high in rigor as what was necessary to be a level 2 class. And I'm with you. I agree. Every other program has principles as level 1, and then the classes that follow are level 2 and higher. Those courses, they equate principles with BIM 1.
And you can't make that decision based on what a stray district is doing here or there, because for every district that is offering it at the middle school, there's 2 offering it for dual credit at a community college. So BIM is kind of a funny one, I agree. But I'm with you, Rick, on that. And Tracy. Tracy?
But Tracy, no, I'm thinking, I also was under the impression, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the programs of study were going to go, that the effective date would be immediate. Now all the verbiage reads that they're effective 24-25, the rewrite to the program of study. So I'm wondering if maybe that's why you didn't get the answer about the performance reporting, because if they don't go into effect until 24-25, I don't know. I'm just trying to think outside the box here.
It's like Rick was, the way that they were posted, the changes have already been made, and they're posted on the website as far as course levels. And that's than the program of study changes somewhat. And so when it was sent to performance reporting, BIM was sent in as a 1 and not as a 1 or 2. It was just sent in as a 1. And so now they're trying to go back to performance reporting, and kudos to Marcette and them, trying to honor what was told, is that if a junior took BIM last year as a level 2 course, it'd be a level 2, not turn into a level 1 as they become a senior. That's pretty exciting. Tracy, you have any other good ones?
Oh, you know me, I'll turn over a rock in a heartbeat. Actually, I do have one when we stop recording.
Okay, very good. Rachel Sotelo, which we all know is Rachel number 1, has a question here, says, she's going, the proclamation 2024, do we pay for instructional materials out of our CTE budget, or is the district given money to pay for new instructional materials? And the answer to those questions, in my mind, is yes and yes. And so can y'all help Rachel? How many of you, when the the instructional material allotment comes out, use that money exclusively to buy the new CTE materials.
In Humble ISD, we have an instructional materials oversight committee, and they get the bucket of money, and so they purchase our. They might not purchase exactly what we recommend because of the cost, but they do purchase for proclamation. So we don't have to use CTE funds.
I would say for us, most of it is purchased through the proclamation, but there's always a time where you get a new teacher and they have a different resource that they think is going to be better for an IBC and it's going to help kids more. And so, you know, there's definitely times, or a new software that's come out that's helps with the curriculum, that I've purchased out of CTE funds. But I would say the majority, like when we purchased ICEV, we got it with the proclamation money, and it was like for 8 years or something like that.
And Rachel, if you're watching the chat, you can see that some districts use the IMA money, and then some districts don't use any of it for CTE. And so I think if you'll look at the Coleman's answer in there from Garmin, it says IMA is used for updates and changes with CTE, and then but like Heather said, just year to year keeping up, because you don't have a proclamation that comes out fast enough to keep up with the materials you need to have the IBCs a lot of times, so you'll be using CTE funds. Miss Risters in Austin said at Lake Travis said that her IMA's all being used on science. So I think you'll get the answer all across the board, Rachel, and get in there and put your best plug in with your instructional materials committee and do your best is what I'd recommend. Anybody here on their instructional materials allotment committee?
I am on our IMOC committee, yes.
Fantastic. How does that go?
Well, I mean, we are, you know, instructional material leader gets all the quotes and things like that, and then the whole committee, which is made up of like our curriculum and instruction leads and our state and federal program leads and some principals. Then we have to vote yay or nay on the spending of the funds. But I do agree, it probably is, since it's K through 12 science this year, that probably is going to take a pretty large chunk of the pot.
And that pot's gone down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really gone down.
And they can spend it on anything. It doesn't have to be a textbook. It can be technology or. So fantastic. That is good textbook information. You know, back in the old days, every 20 years or so, a career textbook would get adopted. You went on there and you checked the list and you sent it to a person. They ordered you 10% over your enrollment. And I know we probably wasted a lot of textbook back in those days, but it sure was a lot simpler and seemed more fair to me. But I haven't gotten an email from the textbook people asking me my opinion yet. Fantastic. Any other good comments or topics you guys want to cover? Jennifer Edenfield from Galveston, I saw that you're on here. Do you want to say something about your, I forgot the name, about the college board stuff?
Sure, I can do that. So I'm also over advanced academics for our district. And so I was attending the Region 4 advanced academics like quarterly meeting, probably, I guess, maybe last week. And they started talking about, I think it's called Career Insight or something like that. And so they are proposing to start putting together CTE career pathways through College Board, where students would earn a certification plus dual credit. And so all of the advanced academic people were like, oh, this is wonderful. And I'm like, but you already have this, like, just go talk with your CTE department. And so the thing from my understanding, and I did send Mark the slideshow because we finally got it yesterday, was their biggest deal is that they're looking at probably just using the same service ID numbers and then turning around. And what has to happen is that the students have to take a test at the end of the course, kind of like an AP course exam. And then they have to pass that to be able to take the certification exam. And so, you know, for us, we're kind of like, okay, you don't have to pass a particular exam for that course before you turn around and take that IBC. I mean, of course, you know, we want them to take the practice exams and things like that before they take the official, but that was one of their things that they were talking about, and that that they're working with colleges to see what colleges will grant them college credit, like that would grant our students college credit if they were to go through the College Board system. It was very, I had to really sit in the meeting and keep my mouth shut because, which is very hard. And so I just sat there and just kept writing notes and notes and notes and notes, and reached out to Mark actually while I was in the meeting, asking if anybody had heard about this, because I was very shocked.
And Jennifer, I have that cyber security pathway. They're not using the career tech language, so I have that pulled up. So if you kind of want to see what it looks like, there's what it would look like for cybersecurity, and it's quite the extensive process.
Yes, and so they, but they did say that this is something that they are working on, and that they are going to start with a cybersecurity pathway, and then they're looking at adding in the networking and IT, and then moving into business. And so they just kind of started going through the whole piece. And so I will just say, if you have an opportunity to maybe go to an advanced academics meeting, like a quarterly meeting, or hear when College Board is going to be putting it on, you know, I would encourage you to go listen to what they have to say. I mean, you might be able to, you know, get a lot of your questions answered by looking at the PowerPoint, but it was just this moment. I just was very surprised. And like, I mean, I said my piece to Mark about, you know, them having to take the, for me, is that it's just another way that College Board is trying to make additional money. But that's my 2 cents worth.
Thank you, Jennifer. I think it's real interesting because if you've been in CTE for any time, well, you remember the old term articulated credit. And we all know that articulated credit probably did not have the best results. And it's not like it wasn't given time. You know, we beat that horse till it was laying in the ditch. It hadn't been named for years. So when they say articulated credit, I always kind of say, well, if you guys make it work, fine. But those kids, they never go and obtain that credit. So it's kind of a pig in the poke if they never get it. And of course, we have some other programs like that. But anyway, it's an interesting idea. And, you know, if they're providing high quality curriculum, I'd be all for it. So the devil's always going to be in the details on this. I guess we just wait. Does anybody have?
Mark.
Yeah, please.
Oh, sorry,
thanks, Tracy.
I was just going to say, I'm glad Jennifer brought that up, because somebody shared that with me, and I met with the director of that program yesterday, and got a little bit more information on it. So it was really interesting, and I agree with Jennifer. I was at the end of that conversation, I was left with more questions, and at first I was really excited about the idea, but then after I talked to her, I was like, yeah, this probably isn't for our district. But what she shared with me is that there are currently 6 districts in Texas that are piloting it, and 7 teachers, and they're trying to add I think she said, I don't have my notes right in front of me, but I think she said they're trying to add another 45 Texas teachers for the 24-25 school year. And that it likely will not award college credit for 24-25. And what they're trying to do is right now it's only 2 courses, and the only one they have fully developed is the networking fundamentals. And so she sent me the crosswalk. There was one cybersecurity teacher in the state that looked at what they put together and compared it to the networking TEACS-based course. So she sent me the crosswalk and I added it all up, and they had a scale of 1 means little alignment, 3 means really well matched. And overall, the TEACS, it was less than a 1. So it didn't look like it was aligning very well. So that left me with some concerns. And when I talked to her about, okay, so like our big thing is having students be able to be program completers. Is this going to be a full program? And she's like, well, we're really looking at 2 years. And so they would take the networking course and then they would take the cybersecurity course. So that was also another red flag for me, because we'd have to add a course before that, obviously, and you'd have to make the networking with labs so that you could get the 2 credits to get to the 4 with 3 class, blah, 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 blah. So I was a little bit concerned about that. And I asked her if they were going to be embedding work-based learning into it. And she said that that is their hope, that by school year 26-27, that they would have some embedded work-based learning. And they're working with Amazon Web Services, IBM, CompTIA, and Cisco. And that was kind of all she was able to tell me right then, but they are hosting a webinar on November 14th. So I put the link to the Career Kickstart website in the chat if anybody is interested in looking at it. But I don't know if they're going to post the webinar information there. She just shared the date, but not any real details on it.
Well, ideally, I think the best case scenario is that it becomes good material and good training. The thing that, in my mind, that most likely that has a kind of a similar correspondence would be Project Lead the Way, where if you pass those 2 courses and pass the test, you can get the articulated credit from Rochester University in New York. And we've had tech prep and we've had articulated credit. It's just those aren't taking a whole lot. But hopefully it'll be good curriculum. Hopefully it'll be good teacher training. We can utilize it. We'll see. What other good topics do we have? That was a good one, Jennifer. Thank you very much. Well, has everyone signed up for conference? Awesome. And Rick, I haven't heard of anybody getting a room out in Seguin yet, so I think we're going to pack everyone into San Antonio. Okay, well, fantastic. If no one has anything else, well, I think we're going to have some slack here at the end, but I'm going to end this for recording purposes. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you guys so much for being here and being able to share with each other. And I think this was a very, very interesting roundtable. Thank you guys so much.